minority groups viewed from human rights perspective. In this research, we use social legal study, status approach, as well as a review on the non-legal aspect of the social reality that is currently happening in the Papuan ethnic minority groups. In the first part will be presented by Mr. Aprilian.
Okay, can we get the presentation in the board, please? Or we just begin, Mr. Okay. Why we use socio-legal study in this research? Please, number 3. Okay. This research use socio-legal study because we state that there are 3 elements of legal system from the argument of Lawrence Friedman, that 3 legal system is, the first is structure of legal structure, legal substance, and legal culture. Then in this research or in this paper, we use the socio-legal to criticize the legal culture and in our open society, and then legal culture in our criminal justice legal officers in our state. Presentation, sorry. And then racial discrimination is not new in Indonesia. In the era of the Suharto regime, we know the ethnic Chinese people whom they accuse of being the mastermind of the state uproar atau the then Chinese allies or Communist Party atau PKI gitu, we call PKI. And then the Chinese also prohibited from celebrating their traditional culture holidays, such Chinese New Year, Imlek. This state in presidential instruction or impress number 14, 1967, which states that all matters related to Chinese culture should not be shown in public. Then discrimination against Papuan ethnics today has occurred in various forms, such as at films. Maybe in 2016, this film called Diam Diam Suka. These films showed the describing Papua as low-value people, primitive, stupid, strange, and other people of from Indonesian nation. It means they are what it called state insurgency, maybe. And then in this film, now we have KPI as a film censorship agency. We then ask, where is the KPI? This case was never give a response by the KPI or punishment or take down by the KPI, just flow. Okay. Then social stigma. Most Papuans shunned because they are black, considered foolish. Most people close nose when adjacent to them. Disrespect, give negative stigma to Papuan, seems unfriendly and less sociable, and many other things. This issue will certainly trigger social disintegration, where the existing event will be the fruit of an explosion through a series of mass of it lasts long enough and takes place continuously. Then most Papua using word pace to call them close friend. And pace is same like niga, if we know. Niga is nigger or negro. But if it used by close friend, it doesn't matter. But if we don't know each other, then two both words have meaning that contain discrimination. Pace, often used by most people to call Papuan people. This confirmed by our two respondents that we deep interviewing. There is Eta and Manir. Then, according to them, Pace was quite a derogatory call. This is because Pace means old people, and this phrase should not used by the same age friend, especially if it's based on ethnic differences. Then we have a law that regulating the social discrimination and
yelled and grabbed the stiff into the land. Next, from the cases that I explained, there are action taken by official, community, organizations, civil society, and public figures who fall into the category of forms of racial and race discrimination that has been regulated in Law 40 on 2008, namely Article 4, letter B, number 1 and number 2. Discrimination against Papuan is not only limited in racist speech, but also action even in law enforcement. Law enforcement in reality tends to be discrimination towards Papuan. In fact, some perpetrators of racial and ethnic discrimination are not processed legally. So the purpose of the law, according to Gustav Redbruch, is to obtain legal justice, legal certainty, and legal benefits is not reachable. However, in reality, what happens is the opposite. The conflict on Papua, finally, the government regulates on law number 35 of 2008 concerning the about formulate with the intention of protecting the Papua Melanesian. We call Papua natives or orang asli Papua. So about the discrimination treatment is make an impact on other violations of human rights, like civil and political rights, as well as economic, social, and cultural rights. The conflict that occurs in Papua is a systemic racism, that is the understanding or concept that a particular race or tribe considered superior and other race or tribe inferior in people's life. This is understanding maintained and passed down continuously in generation. Human rights violation in the form of racial and ethnic discrimination, not only in the form of physical conflict, but also through politicized issues by the government, like such executive, legislative, and judicial and law enforcement practice. Although we had a regulation, we have ratified Convention about Human Rights, that not showing that Indonesia cares about human rights in the international eyes. Moreover, in practice, is still very lacking in reflecting non-discriminatory attitude. So, political will and commitment of law enforcement and the government are needed in order to eliminate racial and ethnic discrimination in Papua, in particular, in Indonesia in general. The next is by.
And the conclusion of our paper is the law enforcement for racial discrimination against ethnic Papuan is often triggered with law enforcement officers' disregard for discrimination. On several occasions, law enforcement officer has been the actor of that responsible for racial discrimination. In addition, the media should not be promote acts of discrimination against ethnic Papuans, which once tended to be neglected by the government to censor media in violation of the provision of the law on the elimination of ethnic and racial discrimination. Conclusion number 2, the practice of regulation on elimination of racial and ethnic discrimination is still severely lacking, especially in Papuans atau orang asli Papua. This racial and ethnic discrimination has a domino effect, namely the emergence of other human rights violations. The government needs to do maximum protection against ethnic Papuans as well as all citizens to be free from ethnic and racial discrimination. And our recommendation is a concrete step to slowly for create society that is free from discrimination is the planting of multiculturalism values. Meanwhile, the basic education of law enforcement officials also needs to be emphasized on the value of humanism, multiculturalism, so that implementation of this value can be well implemented. The Indonesian government should realize the political will to enforce the law against perpetrators of discrimination and violence and the Papuan ethnic groups as an effort to realize human rights goals, namely fulfillment, enforcement, and protection of human rights. Maybe that's all for you. Thank you very much for your attention.
Okay, thank you. Please big applause to Mas Aprilia and Mbak Jihan. I'm sorry I cannot access the Zoom, so I cannot see is there any question that addressed by the participant online. However, is there any question from this room? Please, if you have any question. Oh, not questions. Please show it at the Zoom so we can read together what the question is. Please respond and give your opinion or your theoretical point of view.
Okay, I get the questions. That the question is, are the special autonomy or autonomy law is make a difference or making more discrimination to Papuan? Maybe I said yes. I will give the example the pemilu, hukum pemilu. What is the general election in Papua is regulated by Noken. Nah, based on our deep interview with our two respondent, they disagree for the regulating of Noken, and then not just Noken with other but if the autonomy law is not just only in Papua, but the government have a meaning about the autonomy law. So we cannot what is menyalahkan. Yes, we cannot blame all of the autonomy is bad or all autonomy is good. But in some law, the autonomy is bad because there is a problem with discrimination. Okay, maybe that's That's all my opinion. Maybe Jihan.
I edit the answer. I think the spatial autonomy is needed in Papua because along history and the condition in Papua different from Java, like that. So the special treatment is needed from government to growing condition in there, growing the SDM, the people in there, so they can growing up like the other provinces, like that. So I think the special autonomy in this time to Papuan is important, like that. Sure.
Thank you. Is there any question? If there's no one give their question, I want to discuss some essential issues. Many of time you mentioned about the orang asli Papua. However, I don't know what is the specific concept of orang asli Papua. For example, on your interview, when they said that, I don't know in which categories your informant is, but I imagine that your informant is educated middle class who came to Java and study a lot about democracy, about how what is called human right and other perspective. And in this context, do we still have the essential and authentic concept about orang asli Papua? The first issues. And the second issues, I'm also following the first question about special autonomy. I don't want to see as a person who stayed behind our government policy, but if we try to electing Papuan people today, do you think they will choose to live under Indonesian government, or they will maintain their own freedom? Because this point of view is important to us to elaborate in which specific context of human right we want to discuss about Papuan people. For example, if we want to see from the political and economic perspective, we can read many of report from BPS or from Bappenas or from governmental report that the investment is become main issues that sent by the government to Papua. But still many of people does not see this is the okay. 5 minutes again. What your opinion about the political and economy issues, and what your main concept or the main idea about the orang asli Papua, please?
Okay, I will answer the questions about concept of orang asli Papua or the Papuan native. There is a difference between Papuan native and Papuan ethnic. Papuan ethnic is not native because they have to live in Java or outside the Papua in a long time, and then they have no home in Papua anymore. So we don't get interview for them because they have many friends and they have many adaptation before, so there's no problem in Papuan ethnics that have not home in Papua. But orang asli Papua means is the native Papua that have home in Papua, so they came here to study, or they came here to get job, get life, but they live not longer than 2 years maybe, and in some cases my interview was interviewed by 4 years living people Papua, and then that's all about concept of orang asli Papua is the main idea of our research. And then autonomy law, about the autonomy law is in Papua, the Noken in the general election is just regulated for three kabupaten or so, but in realities there is so much problem in there, because the Noken is not a democratic values, and this is confirmed by our two respondent, and one respondent are from the one of 3 regency that regulating the Noken. So there is a problem in Noken. Maybe
the last question about Papua in government Indonesia or freedom by their own. I think if Indonesia still do military approach to Papua, I think we can melepaskan Papua from Indonesia, freedom gitu. Because the problem in Papua is always use approach military, and I think it make them so mad at Indonesian government. So I think if Indonesian want Papua still in Indonesia, so we have to move the approach, I think, like that, sir. Thank you.
Thank you. Good answer from the Mas Aprilian and Mbak Jihan. Once again, please give applause to the presenter. Thank you. And our time is our schedule is now. We will have lunch. So all the participants or